food and no drink inside the sanctuary. Yo guys, welcome to the Wednesday night Shiur. Please, 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 no food and no drink inside the sanctuary. If you're eating something, please have respect for the sanctuary. Water's okay. We really want to keep this place clean. Thank you. All right, we're gonna get started in a few moments. Everyone's catching their seats. I want to just commend everyone who made it out tonight, because obviously I know it's not easy staying consistent. Last week we had the chief rabbi of Israel. We had 600 people. Today we probably have 100, 150. But it doesn't matter how many people we have. All that matters is that you're here tonight. So continue to show up for yourselves and Hashem, and great things will happen. That's what this class is all about. It's about learning. It's about growing. It's about being together. And it's about building something. And you have to build every single day. You don't just build coming once, saying, okay, then I'm going to come next month. Every week, try your best to make it here. They ask you, when you get to Shemaim, they ask you, did you set a time for Torah? And it's hard for us to learn sometimes, but when we come in this environment, I hope it's easy for us to get together, to have some food, to chill, to hang out, and then listen to a nice class. So, without any further ado, Rabbi Azancot, please take it away. Thank you. Give a round of applause for the Rabbi, please.
Okay, Erev Tov. Good evening, everybody. First of all, it's an honor for me, to have you here in our shul, and knowing that from now on we're going to be hosting this magnificent shiur over here. It's a great zechut, and also obviously to say thank you to Daniel and all his team that are really working very hard for this shiur, so they really deserve a great applause. So, Chazak Baruch. You know, a couple of years ago, in Israel, there was a family of seven kids. They were living in a small apartment, 2-bedroom. And I don't know how many Israelis there is in this room, but if there is, you'll understand the mentality. The family decided that it's time to expand their home. Now, to be able to expand their home, you only have to get majority of signatures from the neighbors. That's it. So this family, right, the Balabai, the man is going and he's knocking the doors, and he's getting majority of signatures, but obviously there were a couple of guys that didn't like the idea. Listen now, expanding, work, dust, noise, headaches. But he got majority of signatures, and he got the permit to start building. My dear friends, they started to build, and there was one neighbor that he couldn't swallow it. He was seeing how this guy, instead of expanding one room, he was expanding now 2 rooms, and the guy couldn't swallow it. Every single time that he was seeing the neighbor, now he couldn't say hello to him. He couldn't even look at his face. And guess what? He didn't stop talking against this guy day and night. A couple of months passed. They were able to finish the construction. And then one day, this neighbor is walking back home. And as soon as it's getting closer to the building, and in Israel, unfortunately, it's something that's how it works. When somebody passes away, there is like a sign at the entrance of the building. Black and white sign. Announcing that the Shiv'ah of so-and-so will be held in his apartment. And he's getting closer and he sees the name that is showing up, and he couldn't believe it. The name was, the neighbor that was building up was a young guy, 40-something years old. He got so embarrassed and he said to himself, I spoke so negative about him. And now he passed away. And now I have to go and say, to go for the Shiva. I'm embarrassed. But he decided to do it. And he got to the house of the Shiva and he entered. And the widow, the young widow, looks at her neighbor and he says to him, I don't know if you know the story, what happened exactly. She says, my husband had, lo alenu, the terrible mahala, the terrible disease. And it was a terminal. He didn't want to say it. And he was mainly worried how, after his passing, his wife and his little kids are going to be able to survive. All what he had was that small apartment of two bedrooms. So he decided to rush it and to be able to get a special permit to expand the apartment for 2 more bedrooms. One of them for, more room, and the other one to be able to rent it, and from that rent, to bring some food to the family. And then the widow says, you see, I know that from the moment that my husband started to build, you couldn't even look at his face. And he told me, I'm not angry at him. But one thing, it was very painful for him. One thing, you don't want to look at him. The other thing is that you're talking bad about him. My dear friends, one of the main topics that became so used and normal and like nothing is the way how we talk. So easily we open up our mouth and so easily we say negative words and negative things about others without thinking twice what can be the result. And we can actually ruin life of people, families. I know personally a guy from Aventura. I'm not going to say too many details. This guy worked in a certain institution with little kids. Listen to this true story. This fellow, it was amazing, and I know him personally. He's a tzaddik. He's an unbelievable guy. Worked for kids, dedicated for kids. One day, there was one parent that for some reason he didn't like this guy, and he decided to build up a whole story about him, that he was doing random things with the kids. Now, believe it or not, he ruined his life. They went to Bedin, and it was proof that he is right, that the boy is right, and not this parent, this father. But whatever, it's already online, it's online. And this guy, for over 20 years, every time that he had a shidduch, after 2 dates, 3 dates, down. Why? Very simple. They were putting his name in Google, boom, all the negative things. One time he came over to me crying. He told me, Rabbi, I don't deserve this. Why is this happening to me? I didn't know what to tell him. My dear friends, Chazal is saying, Chaim ve'mavet biyad alashon. Death and life, it's in the power of our mouth. And yes, we can either, chaz v'shalom, destroy it, or we can build unbelievable things. But my main question for tonight is, why is it so easy for us to speak Lashon Hara? Why it became so easy? Everybody speaks Lashon Hara. Somebody over here wants to raise his hand to tell me that he doesn't? I will not believe you. You know why I don't believe you? The Gemara says it. The Gemara says there are certain averot that usually people are doing. The Gemara says, Rubam begezel. Majority of people, they steal. Don't look at me. Majority of people, they steal. Does that mean they steal? You know, in business, sometimes you allow yourself to do certain things. Sometimes you use stuff that are not yours, you know, even without asking permission. Says the Gemara, majority, rubam, begezel. Mi'utam ba'arayot. Minority of people, they don't keep their body pure. And I'm talking about, obviously, being righteous with your wife, with your husband. Says the Gemara, that's a minority, hopefully. But then the Gemara says, V'chulam be'avat lashon hara. Everybody, not one, is safe from negative things that we speak from lashon hara. So the question is why? And the second thing is, how do we stop it? There is any way to stop it? So I want to share with you a couple of points before we start to understand the concept of lashon hara. You know, it's written in Chazal that a person who keeps himself not to speak lashon hara, he has segula for parnasa, for wealth. What's the connection? Why lashon hara helps you to get parnasa? So the word parnasa in Hebrew, if you split it in two, you will find rasen pe. What's rasen pe? Close up your mouth. By closing your mouth, you get the bracha of getting parnasa. But that's not enough. The Gemara says that obviously lashon hara, when you put it in a scale and you put the worst sins in the world, adultery, murdering, idolatry in one side of the scale, and you put lashon hara in the other side, which one is heavier? The lashon hara is heavier. And it says the Zohar HaKadosh, look at this Zohar. The Zohar says that when a person speaks lashon hara, it creates, I'm going to say it in my language, a certain type of energy around his mouth. That energy remains around you after you spoke lashon hara. Then what happens? Then at the moment that you decide to pray to Hashem, to ask from Him something, at the moment that you decide to say something of kedusha, of connection, that energy, that spirit, whatever you want to call it, grabs those words of kedusha and it goes around it, and now it's coming up. Those prayers that you're praying, they're going up as it is with all the lashon hara inside. So if we all understand how bad it is, I want to understand, first of all, why is it like that? Why it's so easy for us to speak lashon hara? Second, how can we avoid it? And third, there are certain things that I'm allowed to speak or not. You know, they went once to the Chafetz Chaim. I don't know if you heard about him. The Chafetz Chaim was, you know, the author of lashon hara's book. And they told him, Rabbi, you put us in the worst spot. After you took the book of lashon hara, now we cannot open our mouth. Everything, it's a problem. I have to think twice and 3 times before I speak. What a headache. So the rabbi looked at him and he said, Tzaddik, before I wrote the book, you couldn't even open up your mouth. Now that I wrote the book, I'm teaching you how you should open your mouth and how to use it in the proper way. So let me tell you, you know, there is a concept, I don't know in English, you may help me out. Okay, in Hebrew there is 3 levels. There is domem, tzomeach, chai, medaber. Domem means everything that is no life, so to speak, like a stone, like a piece of wood, like a, right? How do you call that in English? Inanimate. Beautiful. Let's go dominion. Then you have tzomeach. What's tzomeach? Tzomeach is everything that grows from the ground. Trees, plants, etc. Then we have chai. The chai means, what's chai? Any animal. And then we have the medaber. When Hashem created the world and He got to the human being, He created him with one quality. That one quality is medaber, the power of speech. And when Hashem created the human being with the power of speech, the Torah says, "Vayipach be'apav nishmat chaim." Borei Olam, what did He do? He took like a balloon. You take a balloon, what do? You blow in, right? Or you blow out actually, you blow out, and now the balloon has your own air. When Hashem created the human being, He blew out from the air of Hashem inside you, inside each one of us. Now we have part of the air of Hashem. And that part is called medaber, the power of speech. And what's so special about this power of speech? The power of speech is the power of communication. The power of speech is the power that I can share with you my ideas and to show you either I am right or wrong. I can explain to you who I am, and I can change things throughout my speech. That's the power of God. What did God do? He created the world. He creates all the time. We have the power to create in a very small comparison, right? Throughout our speech. But what's the problem? That comes together with another problem. The issue is the issue of ga'ava. The issue of pride. Why people are talking negative? You know why? And I want you to be honest with me. Every time that a person speaks bad, is because inside you, you feel that you're missing something. You're not happy with yourself. When a person speaks negative about someone else, it's because it doesn't feel full. So I have to take down the other one, I have to step on him to be able to feel better. If a person gets connected to the proper way of speech, that means you're getting connected with Hashem, that Hashem is only a giver. And then you're able to speak positive because you feel full, you feel comfortable with yourself. So just remember, next time that you will speak Lashon Hara, ask yourself, are you happy with yourself? Be honest. Do you feel full from yourself? Do you feel comfortable with yourself? And probably the answer is going to be no, and then you're going to stop talking about others. Step number one is to understand that the power of speech is a result of what's happening inside me. And I want to tell you, there was a great rabbi by the name of Baba Sali. You heard about the Baba Sali? Of course. So, at the time of the Baba Sali, there was a small, let's call it a small, maybe town, village, whatever, kfar, in Israel. They rushed to the Baba Sali and they told him, Rabbi, something is wrong in our village, something is terrible. What happened? People are dying early, before their time. So the Baba Sali said, what do you mean before the time? Like, what happened? Tell me the tragedies. So the guy told him, listen, Rabbi, in our city, in our small village, right? Everybody live usually long life, 80, 90. Suddenly, the past 2 months, people are passing away at the age of 70. Tragedy. So the Baba Sali looked at him and he says, okay, what do you think to do? So the guy said, Rabbi, we were thinking together with all the community to buy a sheep and to go to the entrance of the city, of the village, and to do shechita over there to the sheep, and to do selichot, and that will bring kapara for us. So the Baba Sali looks at the guy and he tells him, Tzaddik, do me a favor, leave the sheep alone. If you want to shecht someone, if you want to cut someone and cut the tongues of all of you, stop talking Lashon Hara, and I promise you that will stop right away. My dear friends, we don't understand how much power do we have in our mouth. You actually, by talking negative, you can, lo alenu, create negative things happening. There is a Zohar Kadosh. The Zohar says that when a person says Lashon Hara, he creates a certain angel, he says the name of the angel, and he says that angel has permission to go and to damage little kids all around the world. It means that maybe I spoke Lashon Hara here, and there is an effect all around the world. Lo alenu. And if that's correct regarding negative, imagine how much is correct regarding positive. But let me ask you a question. Are we allowed to speak Lashon Hara when somebody is asking you, how is this guy? Should I hire him? Are you allowed to tell him the truth? Because a lot of people think that Lashon Hara, it's only when the other day I was talking with a guy, and he was telling me about someone, so I stopped him and I told him, listen, it's Lashon Hara. He says, Rabbi, it's not Lashon Hara. It really happened. Now, my dear friends, Lashon Hara, it's when it happened. Lashon Hara ze al emet. If it's not true, it's not called Lashon Hara. It's called Motzi Shem Ra. It's a different story. So the question is, am I allowed to say the truth when somebody needs to know it? What's the rule? Imagine now your boss comes over to you and he tells you, listen, I know that you have somebody from your community who wants to take, a position in our business. So you ask him, who is it? It's Jack. You know Jack? He says, yeah, I know him. Okay, can you tell me more about him? You're not allowed to tell him? You come back home, and your wife comes back also from work, and she has to tell you something. She has to say it. Are you allowed to listen to hear the Lashon Hara? Everything asur? I love to say this story. There was a lady in Israel that she had some issues, so she went to the rabbi and she said, Rabbi, now it's before Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi, can you give me something, to be mitchazeket? I want to take something upon myself. So the rabbi said, okay, fantastic. Which area do you think you would like to improve? And the lady says, Rabbi, whatever you tell me, everything, I'm open for everything. Besides one thing, Lashon Hara I can't, okay? Everything else, yalla. So the rabbi said, why? Lashon Hara you can't, why not? He said, no, that's, Rabbi, forget about it. It's my baby. It's not going to happen. I love Lashon Hara. So the rabbi says, listen, it's not going to work that way. Let's do a deal. I think that you should take something on Lashon Hara. Let's try at least, a couple of hours, I don't know, maybe 2 hours a week of not talking Lashon Hara. The lady says, absolutely not. It's not happening. So the rabbi is trying to push, and maybe this way, maybe that way, until they get to the final conclusion. Listen, we're going to do a deal. Take the 24 hours. You can choose any hour of the 24 hours of the day. Any hour. 1 hour, no Lashon Hara. She says, any hour? She says, yes. Okay, no problem. I'm going to take an hour that for sure I'm sleeping, and that will be the hour. And the rabbi said, no problem. Which time? She said, 2 a.m. She usually goes to sleep at 10:30. 2 a.m. is exactly the moment where she's sleeping to the other side, and Habibi another, I don't know how many hours. No problem. They took the deal. A couple of weeks later, the lady comes to the rabbi's house, knocks at the door like crazy. Rabbi, you cheat me. I cheated you? Well, what happened? Rabbi, all of you rabbis are so, how do you say that? Sneaky, you know. What happened? Tell me what happened. And the rabbi said, and the lady says like this, Rabbi, you're not going to believe what happened last night. I was invited to a wedding. I was in the wedding. Usually it's on my first time going to a wedding. So I was in the wedding. At around 11:30, I decided to leave the hall. And I'm waiting for the bus. Right, Israel. I'm waiting for the bus. And then finally the bus comes, packed full of people. It doesn't even stop. It just moves on, continues. I'm screaming, hey, open! Nothing. I'm waiting another 20 minutes, whatever time it is. Second bus passes. Packed of people. Finally, the third bus finally comes. He opens up the doors. I enter. I say, oh my gosh, it's so late, I'm exhausted. And she's sitting down in the bus. And she says to the rabbi, Rabbi, you know, at that wedding, I got such a lashon hara from the juicy one, from the spicy one. You know, the ones that you want to just scream it out loud. And I was just waiting to get home and to tell my husband the lashon hara. But like I told you, says the lady, I'm in that bus, the third one, it's late. And never happened. I know the road. I know the way how to get to my house. Never happened. Middle of the night. There is a huge traffic. Things are not moving. And I'm sitting and waiting, and the time is passing, and I'm exhausted. And finally, until everything got open, and then the bus started to drive faster. Believe it or not, Rabbi, a flat tire. Everybody had to go down from the bus to wait for the next bus to come. To make the long story short, my dear friends, the lady gets at home and she opens up the door, and what does she see? 2 a.m. 2 a.m. Now, one thing for sure, she said, I didn't care to wake up my husband. That was my plan. Even if he's sleeping, I'm going to wake him up, and I have to tell him the lashon hara for sure, not even a question. But I still did 2 a.m. and I said to myself, no, cannot be. I promised the rabbi I have to wait 1 hour. And the lady says, Rabbi, I sat next to the bed for 1 whole hour. That was the longest hour in my life. The second didn't move. Finally, when it got to 3 a.m., I screamed. I woke up my husband. Wake up! I have to tell you the lashon hara. And the lady says, and I told him the lashon hara. And I went to sleep. My dear friends, says the lady to the rabbi, what was the point, Rabbi? You made me such a headache. Wait a whole hour for nothing? At the end, I ended up saying the Lashon Hara. What was the point? And the rabbi smiled, and the rabbi tells her, you know what was the point? The point was to prove to you that you're capable to control yourself. You see, the Yetzer Hara comes over to us and he says, guys, stop, give to the rabbi a break, come on. He's exaggerating. It's impossible. You know what? Might be right. But can we try at least a certain time, a week, I'm not saying a day, a week, not to speak Lashon Hara? Can we try at least, you know, maybe to learn one halacha, maybe per day or per week? I promise you, because it's not my promise. There was a great rabbi by the name of the Gri Segal. He said that every family, listen to this, every family that took upon themselves to learn 2 halachot per day of Lashon Hara, any issue that they have, any issue, they will see a salvation. So everybody hates when they speak about your Lashon Hara, right? We don't like it. So let's do something. If we feel that we want a certain Yeshua, if it is a shidduch, if it is to find a job, if it is papers, if it is whatever it is, take upon yourself 1 minute a day of maybe learning or hearing a short video or something short audio about Lashon Hara. And I can promise you, because it's not mine, that you will see miracles. But like I told you, there is many details when it comes to Lashon Hara. Many. One of the main rules, and this is something that is important to know, is that whenever someone has to tell you something, you need an information. Imagine now, there is a guy that is dating out a girl. Okay, now, he has to know what's the story, right? Now, if it will go over to somebody that knows the girl, or vice versa, are you allowed to ask details and information? Is that allowed? Says the Chafetz Chaim, yes, but not so fast. You must come with the following conditions. Number 1, you have to ask really what's needed for you and not above that. Number 2, you have to know that person what's the purpose. Okay, because if he's not going to know what's the purpose, just calling and say, hey, do you know a girl by name, Sarah? So yeah, what can you tell me about her? And she doesn't even know what's the purpose. So you causing her to speak Lashon Hara, and that's a problem. So you got to let her know. But the third point, says the Chafetz Chaim, and that's the hardest one, is that any information that you're getting today, any information, you're not allowed to accept it as a 100% true. And if you did, you actually did Lashon Hara. You must hear and take precaution. I'm not 100%, even though it's my best friend telling me it. And I trust him. It's my dad, it's my mom, and they know. Says the Chafetz Chaim, you're not allowed to accept it 100%. Because if you do, so only by listening and accepting it, it's called Kabbalat Lashon Hara, and says the Chafetz Chaim, it's worse than talking. So I just want to tell you the following. You see, in this week's parasha made a difference. Actually, it was this past Shabbat. You remember Moshe Rabbeinu, first time that he's going out from the palace? Remember that scene? You remember that part of the story? That part of the movie? Moshe Rabbeinu is going outside the palace, and what does he see? What does he see? What does he see? He sees an Egyptian. What is he doing? He's beating up a Jew. Right? So Moshe Rabbeinu decides to do something, and he says a certain name, and he kills up the Mitzri, the Egyptian. Next morning, what happened? Moshe Rabbeinu again goes out and he sees two Jews fighting, right? And then he stops them. He said, guys, stop it. What are the guys telling Moshe Rabbeinu? Moshe, you are the guy. We saw you yesterday. You are the guy who killed the Egyptian, right? You are that guy. You want to kill us also? And then Moshe Rabbeinu says the following phrase. Listen to this carefully. He says, Achen noda hadavar. From now I know the reason. I know the reason. Which reason? Of what? Of what? I know the reason why the Jewish people deserve exile. Why? Achen noda hadavar. Dibur. Now I know that there is Lashon Hara going on over here. And because of the Lashon Hara, I realize that that's the cause of the exile. Now let me ask you a question. Can somebody over here tell me how many mitzvot the Jewish people kept when they were in Egypt? Did they put on tefillin? No. Did they kept Brit Milah? No. Did they kept Taharat HaMishpacha? Huh? No. There were no mitzvot that the Jewish people did. Huh? So Moshe Rabbeinu, he did it in the miracles. Very nice. Did they keep Shabbat? No. So, not only did they didn't fulfill any mitzvah, did they do any sins? Did they did idolatry? Yes or no? Idolatry. Did they do any idolatry? Of course they did. So I have a simple question for you. You want to tell me that the reason why they're being punished is because they spoke Lashon Hara? Now, come on, let's be honest. What about all of these things? Listen to these guys, and this is a tip that at least I got a lot of chizuk. It says the Maharal. He writes and he says, the truth is that there are many sins that people are doing during their life. Everybody's included. We do tons of sins. But says the Maharal, when a person does a sin, maybe there are consequences to the sin. But Hashem doesn't bring punishment to a person in this world because of a sin. He waits. Maybe he's going to do teshuvah. Hashem has patience. But says the Maharal, at the second that a person speaks negative, and he speaks Lashon Hara, he opens up those gates that are closed, where all the negative averot that we have done, they're waiting there. He opens up those gates. The Lashon Hara allows the results and the consequences of our own sins to come down and to give us whatever we deserve. Says the Maharal, really, the Jewish people, they did a lot of averot. No question about it. But they didn't deserve to get punished yet. Until Moshe Rabbeinu realized, Achen noda davar. Now they're talking. And once you talk, you open up files. So if we want to protect ourselves, nobody's perfect over here. We're going to do a lot of averot. I believe the Gemara says, "En tzadik ba'aretz asher yaseh tov v'lo yechida." It's impossible not to make a sin. But even when we make sins, you're able to protect yourself if you keep your mouth shut. And I got to tell you the following. There was a family. This family also decided to build in their home an extension. They had a neighbor, old couple. They were living in the floor above them. And because of the dust, affected the old lady so much, she fainted, she lost her conscience. and they call up Hatzalah. Listen to this. Once they call up Hatzalah, Hatzalah comes in. They were able to help her out. And the lady sees the guy of Hatzalah is a religious man. So she says to him, excuse me, can I ask you a question? I don't know what to do. This neighbor of mine is working without permits. It's ruining my health. Should I say something to the city? It's really dangerous for me. The guy, the member of Hatzalah, tells her, listen, I'm not a rabbi, so I cannot tell you what's halakha. But one thing I'm sure, if you're able to figure out in a different way, do it. My dear friends, fast forward. A year later, they get a call, Hatzalah, and not only Hatzalah, the 911 gets a call. It's in Israel, so there is no 911, whatever. The fire department gets a call. And they're rushing to the same exact building. And guess what? They realize that there is a fire in that same apartment. And the problem is that the streets are so narrow that there is no way to enter. No way to enter. So they're gonna figure it out, and the firefighters, they go out and they start running, but they realize that there is not even a way to stick in all the whatever tools that they have. Until one of the members over there decided to come with a great idea. He said, let's jump on top of the pergola. There was a pergola, it's called pergola in English? Yeah? A pergola that is over there. Let's jump on top and we'll try to save the people from the window. And that's what they did, they saved the couple. They were rushed to the hospital, and at the hospital, the Hatzalah member recognized the lady and he says, are you that lady that I was by you a year ago? She says, yes, I remember you also. Says the lady, listen, you remember what you told me last year? If I'm able to figure out I should, and not to speak negative, I listened to you, and I decided not to stop the guy to do his extension. I went to live with my daughter 2 months. I don't want to imagine what was the daughter passing me through, but 2 months I was with my daughter. After 2 months, he finished whatever he did. And today, thanks to his extension, you guys were able to jump from that pergola to get to my apartment and to save us. Rabotai, I'm just closing with this. And before I finish, I would like, if you don't mind, I'll give 5 minutes of your time to someone over here. I'll explain to you in a minute who is that person, but I think it's very important for you to hear it. So I just want to finish with this. Chachamim are saying, Shomer piv ulshono, shomer mitzarot nafsho. When a person keeps his mouth, you're saving yourself from tzarot. You know what tzarot? Do you know what tzarot? Somebody knows what tzarot? I hope nobody over here knows what tzarot. So this lady that I'm going to present to you, this lady, since October 7 in Israel, she didn't stop for a second to take care of the worst tzarot that people has been passed throughout the 7th of October and after. This lady, she opened up an organization, and her job, completely volunteer. What she does is every single day, she goes to all the families that have lost their sons, their daughters, if it's in the IDF, if it's in the attack. And throughout all of these 2 years, she didn't stop for a moment. Say Chazal, there is one way that we can avoid tzarot from Am Yisrael. Everybody's right now checking what's going to happen. Iran, Trump is going to attack, not attack, and if he attacks, lo alenu, now they might attack Israel again. My dear friends, Everything is possible. We have one way that we can help our brothers and sisters around the world, and especially in Israel. Let's try. At least for 1 week, and I'm challenging you. 1 week, not more than that. Take half an hour per day, you choose. Only 1 week that you will take upon yourself that half an hour. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to any connection to negative words. And you should know the best way to success in that is start talking positive. Positivity pushes negativity. If you're going to be talking positive, the negative lashon hara is going to be pushed off. So with your permission, I would like to give 5 minutes to the two great ladies that are really giving from their every single day for Am Yisrael and for those families that we own them the most. Those families that they have sacrificed their own kids for the protection of Am Yisrael.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. Thank you all for being here, and well, we're very thankful to have this opportunity to share with you. We're both from Israel. This is Rochi, and I'm Adi. And Rochi's from Jerusalem, and I just moved to Sderot, closest city to the Gaza border. And commemoration is very close to our heart. We are in here because we need you. And it's not just like a cliche thing, oh, we need you, really, each and every one of you. Because, you know, there are a lot of problems now. And I think everyone feels the fracture, the crisis we're in. It's a wound that we all share, and it's still bleeding. And the thing that is, as activists in commemoration and memory, that we feel is the pain of those who are left. You know, we want to honor those who were not with us anymore, their legacy. But we're here to say, also, there are two things, this, but also what about the people who are left? And if you will ask most of the families what they want you to do, most of them will not talk about money or anything else, but they just want you to remember their loved ones. They want to tell you about them. So I'm gonna let Rochi tell you why we're here and why we need you in this mission.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here together with you tonight. On October 7, when we sit in the shelters and the alarms was all over, I was with a new platform that I opened just because I wanted to do after my parents that I lost them on a young age. And I opened a platform that each one can go and build a page, a memorial page, put biography, details, pictures, movies, everything, and put a QR code on the grave that everyone will know who is this person. So I had a platform. And when we sit in the shelter, I thought that it's like 100, 200 people that was dying. It was something like, cannot understand what's going on outside. And I decided that what I will do after Yom Tov, what I will do after Yom Tov, I will go to the families, sit with the people and tell them, look, I will take on me to make you a memorial page and write the stories. After Yom Tov, hour after hour, the numbers went up, but I stayed with my permission to myself that I'm gonna do it. And I collect a few friends and we started to go. It was all around alarms and bombs, and we went to a toy store. we took half of the toy store and we just put it in the cars, and we went from family to family, give the children toys and sit down to hear who was their loved ones. And what we heard, it's something that I think we are the best generation. All the time we say, דור שלא נבנה בימיו, כאילו נחרב בימיו. Why? Because they wasn't good enough. There was like the door that wasn't worth it to build the Beit HaMikdash. I'm sure that our generation is a generation that is a zakai to build the Beit HaMikdash. I'm telling you, it's so close, because what I found by the notebooks of these kids, that there wasn't religious, a lot of them. And what they found by themselves is like Avraham Avinu, that find by himself the Ribbono Shel Olam. It was like unbelievable. They left notebooks. I didn't believe that our generation write notebooks, but they wrote notebooks, and they talked about Emunah and about how it's important to be connected to Hashem and to be connected to yourself and to know why did you came here. And if you're walking in Israel, it's all over stickers. I'm saying the sticker is a Sefer Musar. The walls are talking to us with their cute pictures and telling us so much about how to behave and what to do and how to be good one to the other and how to look on the goods of the others. And they really gave their life, not that we will be able to continue fighting, that we will be able to welcome them soon, Be'ezrat Hashem, in Binyan Beit HaMikdash. And I'm sitting with the families, not just me, a lot of volunteers, and writing the biography and put the QR code on the graves. And I'm sitting with a lot of families by the cemeteries a lot of times. I don't know if you know, but in Israel, the cemeteries, b'miuchad the IDF cemeteries, became a place that every Friday are full, like you're coming to a museum, or much more even. Parents, families are coming to say Good Shabbos to their kids, bring flowers every week, week after week. Doesn't matter if it's cold or if it's hot, if they have guests or not, they're coming every week. So I'm sitting with them a lot by Fridays. And I'm telling them, listen, we're just writing it, not for you kids, we're writing it for ourselves, to know what we're supposed to do, to know how we can learn from them to be so good. Just before Rosh Hashanah, I said again Friday, and everybody talks about Trump, that he have a 20 points program, and they're going to bring all the hostages back. And one of the parents told me, I won't be able to see it. I'm so jealous. I won't be able to see the father can hug his son again, and my son is not here. I'm asking you, if it's coming through these 20 points, can you find a shot that put me to sleep till we won't see it on the screens anymore? So I told him, what's going on with you? You know, it would be so happy to see everybody, and he told me, you don't understand how I cannot take it. And they started to talk about the war that's going to finish. And another mother said, you know, the war will finish and everybody will forget our kids. So I say, no, never. You're going all over the world, but for sure in Israel, every place is full of stickers, smiling kids. You cannot forget them, never. So I didn't know what I'm going to hear, but I heard from few parents over there that they didn't do nothing on their kids. They told me, one of them told that he print 10,000 stickers. He stick by himself 300 stickers. It wasn't easy for him. And a few days later, people took it, he's walking to work. He must continue life, and he see the walls full with stickers, and his son is not there. It's so painful for him every time. And other ones say he didn't even print. He didn't find by himself the koach to go and make the stickers, and he didn't have friends and families to help him. And each one say how he didn't do. So I told them, listen, we're gonna do one bracelet that in one QR code, you're gonna have all your kids, all the people that fell in the war. Everyone can go in, read about them, write to the families, light candle, be part of it. And we will try to come to million and that will wear the bracelets. And they got so excited. And a few days afterwards, we had already the first bracelet. And now we're trying to get all over to Jewish communities around the world to be able to help us and be able to remember all these people by buying and remembering these gorgeous kids that we lost, part of our art. And we all hope that soon we'll meet in Yerushalayim Abnuya and we'll just show them, we know you, we have the bracelet. So I will just show you what we have now, and we really want you to help us to get it all over, wherever you can.
So back to you. We need you, to each one of you, to be an ambassador for carrying this memory. I also have a bracelet. And just carrying this memory and purchasing a bracelet, it's more than just the big value of carrying memory that, that's very essential for us also as Jews, remembering, right, the Sabbath, Exodus, Jerusalem, Holocaust, and now October 7th. It's more than these values that are important and we believe in. It's really a connection between us and our heroes, and a connection between us, when I say us, like whoever's carrying this, and the families. Because the volunteers that we have in Remember, the project name is Remember, please follow us online. We brought a lot of stickers, so even following us would be a support. There are so many things you can do for support. So we have hundreds of volunteers, and when they come to the families and get information, and they have to upload this information, and by the way, it's constant, because every week the families want to upload more things and more things. So it's a constant relationship. Also, sometimes we discover that they need more things. So this is a relationship also with the families who are left behind. So by carrying this bracelet, this is our connection to the people of Israel, to those who like Avraham, sacrificed their son, their daughter. And so we brought a few bracelets here. We have a lot more. We ask that anyone who can support by following us, by purchasing a bracelet, by becoming an ambassador for these bracelets, we need you, and the families need you. And thank you so much for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Rabbi, for speaking. Guys, we do this every single Wednesday. This will be our location going forward. Bring a friend next time. We're doing RV right now. RV. We have prayer books in the front of the shul. Please, if you have trash, please throw your trash away. And like I said, every single Wednesday we are here. Every single Wednesday. Please come back next week with a friend. More fun. Thank you all for coming, and early Shabbat Shalom. RV, who's praying RV? Who's praying RV?
Florida.